everyone, I want to talk a little bit personal about my fears surrounding rejection. I want to talk about why I was really dismissive of rejection, especially when I first started breaking down my sensory motor-based fears, which is primarily conditional life acceptance, the fear of being stuck with an uncomfortable sensation forever, and why I really just put rejection to the side because I didn't think I had nearly as much rejection. And then when my body dysmorphia took a really big hit, but it goes way beyond that. It goes, your body image stuff was, the tip of the iceberg that just was the latching point. And I think it's really important to be, just tell you how this affected me and maybe not so much an informative video and just tell you the learning lessons that I had to go through and all the mistakes I made. And hopefully this will help you break down the fears surrounding your rejection, whether it's intellectual rejection, a physical rejection, whether it's intimacy in a relationship from your parents, et cetera, et cetera. And comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. I think there's going to be some great stuff on this, and hopefully you'll be able to relate. Before I go any further, as always, please subscribe if you're really struggling with rejection, whether it's from a moral-related fear or a taboo fear, a body image-related fear, relationship. We can help you break all those down. Phil at OCDrecovery.com, and we will get back to you in an extremely timely fashion. And, this is a very important topic to all of us. Now, I never had any of the primary taboo-based fears as a primary theme. That doesn't mean I haven't had intrusive thoughts with HOCD or harm OCD or POCD try and come in and, try to open the floodgates per se. I have. It isn't true. And I've had other events in my life happen to where it would have made that very easy to become a reality. Maybe it happens in the future. Who knows? Those weren't my primary things. But when I was a kid, if I look back, I always enjoyed the rebel side of my, being a rebel and always getting into trouble and not following the rules. And I was arrested multiple times when I was younger. I had a really bad DUI when I was 23 years old, so 10 years ago now. Got into a lot of fights, verbal fights, physical altercation fights. Always wanted to be the man, dressing cool. And, you don't really realize when that's brewing and when those perspectives are taking shape from your environment, how you were raised, your friend group, a lot of it's really subconscious. You're not sitting down at night as a 16-year-old thinking, why am I becoming the way I'm becoming? It's just happening. And then in the future, you have to kind of take care of that as time goes on. And that's how you break a lot of that stuff down. So I had these brewing fears of being rejected by my peers, these brewing fears of being rejected by my mother. I never wanted to admit that. I had a massive fear about being rejected by my mother. Not so much by my father, but definitely by my mother. I just never put a label on that. I don't think I've actually ever admitted that, except for right now. And again, the activating events, the past that happened, acknowledging it is important, but it's not nearly as important as changing your beliefs in the moment. And then, when I got really into bodybuilding and started taking a lot of steroids, I took steroids from the ages of 18 to 22, 17 to 22 or 23. I took steroids for years. Injectables, pills, just very big culturally at the Jersey Shore in the mid-2000s, 2005, 6, 7, 8. We had a great place in Jersey called Joey Harrison Surf Club. Anyone that knows Surf Club, it got destroyed in Hurricane Sandy, which was sad. Some just straight techno raves on Sunday afternoons on the beach. It was fucking awesome. So, just had so much fun. But it's all about looks, right? Who's got the newest Gucci glasses? Who has the best body? Who's the most shredded? Who has the most veins popping out of their arms? Who's got the hottest girlfriend or boyfriend? Who has the best dance moves? And I got really caught up in that. Who has the best tan? Who has the best car? Who's pulling up with the AMG Mercedes with the tinted windows? And anyone that's from Jersey or those areas can really fall into that. And they know that's a very big reality. So, I got really caught up in that world. And then my entire fear base was based around looks and images. So I was really afraid of being rejected by women, which was odd because it didn't present in the way that you would think. I had no problem speaking to women. I've never had a problem speaking to women. I don't care if I come across as offensive. I don't mind if I come across as silly or stupid. I never minded those things. It all was coming from this, I was very, very afraid of not having a body count. of not having sex with a lot of women. And so many people do not want to admit that fear on camera, but it's the truth. And it's something that I had, and it's not just applicable to men. I've worked with women in coaching calls who are like, I want to be sexualized. I want men to think I'm attractive. I want them to think I'm sexy, etc. Because we put so much weight in society on looks and images. And you hear stuff about like, oh, beauty looks like this and beauty looks like that. It's just simply not true. We have a natural inclination to look at certain particular things and subscribe to those dogmas as beauty and stuff. But it just doesn't work like that for everyone, because we see people really, say, skinny individuals being in a relationship with really overweight individuals, for an example, for whatever reason. Oh, well, that's a fetish. It's just not a hard set rule. We have these societal rules on beauty, and we're like, if I don't look like that, it's horrible. And the people who really struggle the most with this, because of cultural beliefs, are models, female bikini, IFBB pros. They really struggle, because I know a lot of them, and I've worked with some of them where they really, we see terrible things. We see, I remember the story, what was it, last year, the woman who won Miss America, that light-skinned African-American woman, she jumped 26 floors in Manhattan. Why? Why would she do that? Well, there was definitely a belief brewing that no one knew. I always say, if I could have talked to someone about that, you don't need other people's approval on your body. None of that matters. It doesn't matter if 100 people call you fat. You can be uncomfortable with that. We're not saying to never feel anything, but you could have a healthy, wow, that's unfortunate. Maybe even cry once in a while. But it's not the end of the world. Your life can go on. You get that by shifting your beliefs from this book right here, the first book on the reading list, Stubbornly Refuse, but also The Myth of Self-Esteem, which is an amazing book. And if you're looking for the books on the reading list, OCDrecovery.com, and we will get back to you. Not OCDrecovery.com. Sorry, I was looking at something I had over here in Switch Thoughts. But OCDrecovery.com, and underneath the free resource tab, and you see those there. And that's really important. So those were really massive fears for me. And as I got into graduate school, my fears of rejection morphed and shifted. Okay, so they shifted to more. So how did they really present? So they presented more with, how was it? I'll give you an example. If you're not the smartest person in the class, you're a loser. You always have to get good grades. I had a compulsion with needing to be done the first person in class and getting out of my seat first and needing people to know I was smart. I always had to talk about my accolades, and I lied a lot. I was such a compulsive liar. Oh my gosh. I lied, and people knew I was a bullshitter. I was such a big liar. And no one wants to admit that to anyone, because it can feel embarrassing, and I don't have that embarrassment of that anymore. I have lied about everything. I've lied about the amount of people I've slept with. I've lied about my accomplishments in my life. I've lied about different achievements in my life, schooling achievements, intelligence levels. I've lied and exaggerated things I've known about, and it all came from rejection. It doesn't mean you're never going to lie in your life again, because that's just not how it is. If Erica came down and maybe she was wearing something I didn't like, and she said, "Hey, Dave, how do I look?" And I said, "Hey, you look like fucking shit." You're not going to... There's certain things where you just don't... You can lie, and it's not the end of the world. OCD sufferers have to actually get very comfortable with lying in a fraud sense, and that's a totally different topic we can talk about. But that's really how rejection affected me, and I was very, very... I would compartmentalize. I don't use that word a lot because I don't like the way it's used, in my opinion. But I would compartmentalize that and just block it out of my mind, to where I would just be like, I'm never going to address this. I'm never going to address this rejection. I don't want to have anything to do with it. And that really, really held me back. So I want all of you to really think about, how rejection is affecting you in your life. Think about the behaviors that you were doing. So like some of the big behaviors, it's just... A lot of people think compulsive lying comes from nowhere. Compulsive lying comes from a fear of rejection in many cases, right? Not every case, but a lot of cases it comes from rejection. Whether they think I'm a loser, whether they think I'm stupid, whether they think I'm silly, I have to brag, I have to get my ego. So I think a lot of people misunderstand the Freudian and Jung work, Carl Jung, about the id, the ego, and the superego. The ego is just coming from fears. I agree. I think they do a really good job to explain that, but I think they missed out on something which Ellis brought to light. If you have a fear of rejection, see, a lot of people think people are narcissists. Narcissism is real, not nearly as common as the modern world has exploded. I mean, everyone's a narcissist nowadays. Everyone's gaslighting. It doesn't work like that. Most people who you think are narcissists or have narcissistic tendencies are just insecure off fears of rejection. It's so easy to spot because I've worked on this myself and I see that in other people now and I'm like, wow, they're really afraid of being rejected. So I want you to all think about this. You know, I still lie. I'm a human. It's not the end of the world. I don't lie nearly as much. I still have a healthy dosage of rejection. You're never going to get rid of rejection. It's like saying you're going to get rid of an emotion. It's not how it works. Very innately and biologically instilled, but it's a much healthier rejection. Because I'm not nearly as lean as I used to be, right? And I would say I'm still lean, but I'm not, you know, I would say like, you know, because when I was on anabolic steroids, I mean, these veins would just be bulging at all times. My biceps were much bigger, and I put my whole self-worth on that. You know, you females with bigger glutes and bigger tissue, breast tissue, and better jaw lines and better makeup. It's all fun and games until you realize that if you don't look like that, you completely tank. And you're like, I look like shit and no one's going to accept me in my life. I'm a worthless person, etc. So really take a look at that. That doesn't mean you can't, you know, go to the gym. It doesn't mean you can't put makeup on. It just means that if you're doing that to attach to your self-worth, which is what we do biologically and innately for some reason that no one can explain, some higher power, whatever it is, probably thousands and thousands of years of genetics passed down. It's so instilled in us, and for, you know, herd mentality, protection mentality, but you can override a lot of that by changing your beliefs and long-term commitment. So I was petrified of rejection. Petrified. Sad. Almost makes me want to cry a little bit. Just how much it really affected me. Wow. Everything I did, everything. Schooling, wanting to be cool. I even became a chiropractor because I wanted to be better than people. I love being a chiropractor, but I wanted to be a chiropractor to be better than people and to show people up. I wanted to build muscle to be better than you and be cooler than you. I wanted to study this to be cooler than you. I still do a lot of that stuff, but it's for a different reason. That's been really amazing. Yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you need help with this, we can help you. I can help show you how I did this, Rob and Moman, whoever you want to work with. Please email us at OCD Recovery, Phil at OCD Recovery. I got a little bit emotional there. It really does. You know, I forget. I mean, I have to remind myself, this November, 4 years ago, I was literally sitting on a plastic mattress in the mental hospital saying, I am going to hang myself when I leave here. Like, no one is going to stop me. You know, I thought a lot about death by suicide by the police. And, you know, I'm just going to do something crazy in the police. I'm going to go for their gun. I'm going to make them shoot me. Sad place to be. But thankfully, I'm here, and I make this a life mission of mine to help OCD and anxiety sufferers, and it's just the most worthwhile thing to me. I love it, and I'm not going anywhere. So if I annoy you, I'm sorry. But again, email us at phil@ocdrecovery.com, and we will get back to you in a timely fashion. I'm gonna go maybe cry now, because that is tough. It's still not easy to open up about stuff like this, but I do think it's very, very, very important. So again, hope to hear from you soon. Have a good one, everyone.